Yes, it is permissible to tap the secondary of an existing transformer, provided that each set of conductors has its own overcurrent protection. The relevant National Electrical Code reference for this is found in section 240.21 Bone. This section allows tapping the secondary of a transformer to supply additional loads. However, it's crucial to adhere to the exception specified in 240.21 Bone, which mandates overcurrent protection for each set of conductors originating from the secondary of the transformer. The specific wording states that each set of conductors originating from the secondary of a transformer shall have overcurrent protection meeting the requirements of this section. This means that each set of conductors you tap from the transformer's secondary must be protected by a circuit breaker or fuses. Several additional considerations are paramount when implementing such a setup. Firstly, the transformer's capacity must be adequate to handle the total load of both the existing temporary office trailer and the new temporary trailer being added. It's imperative to calculate the total volt-ampere demand of both trailers and ensure that the transformer's kilovolt-ampere rating is sufficient to supply the combined load without being overloaded. Secondly, the overcurrent protection devices, such as circuit breakers or fuses, must be appropriately sized for both the conductor size and the load they are protecting. This involves calculating the ampacity of the conductors using tables such as those found in NEC Table 310.15 and selecting overcurrent protection devices with an ampere rating that does not exceed the conductor's ampacity. It is also important to ensure that the overcurrent protection device is sized to protect the load it is serving. Thirdly, the tapping point should ideally be located as close as possible to the transformer. This minimizes the length of the secondary conductors before they are protected by overcurrent devices. The shorter the unprotected conductor length, the lower the risk of a fault causing a fire or other hazards. Fourthly, the secondary conductors must be properly sized and installed in accordance with the NEC. This includes using the correct wire gauge for the intended load, ensuring proper insulation, and adhering to any applicable requirements for conduit or other types of raceway. It is also imperative to verify that all connections are made securely and that all terminations are properly tightened to prevent loose connections and arcing faults. The exception in 240.21c does not apply in this particular scenario because the secondary conductors are being used to supply loads that do require overcurrent protection. In this case, the temporary office trailers are considered loads that necessitate overcurrent protection. Therefore, the requirements of 240.21 Bone must be strictly followed. The fact that the transformer has a dual voltage output of 230/110 volts does not alter the fundamental requirement for overcurrent protection. Regardless of the voltage level, any conductor tapped from the transformer's secondary must be protected by an overcurrent device. Here's a more detailed breakdown of the key aspects. Firstly, transformer capacity. Accurately assess the total load demand of both temporary trailers. This involves determining the volt-ampere requirements of all appliances, equipment, lighting, and other electrical devices that will be used in both trailers. Add these volt-ampere values together to obtain the total volt-ampere demand. Convert the volt-ampere demand to kilovolt-amperes by dividing by 1000. Ensure that the transformer's kilovolt-ampere rating is greater than or equal to the total kilovolt-ampere demand. It is generally advisable to provide a safety margin of at least 20% to account for future load growth or unexpected surges. Secondly, overcurrent protection sizing. For each set of conductors tapped from the transformer secondary, determine the required ampacity based on the load it will be supplying. Refer to NEC Table 310.15 to determine the allowable ampacity of the conductors based on their size, insulation type, and ambient temperature. Select an overcurrent protection device such as a circuit breaker or fuse with an ampere rating that does not exceed the conductor's ampacity. It is generally permissible to use the next standard overcurrent device rating above the conductor's ampacity as long as it does not exceed 800 amps. Ensure that the overcurrent protection device is also suitable for the load it is protecting. For example, if the load includes motors or other inductive equipment, the overcurrent device should be time delay type to prevent nuisance tripping due to inrush current. Thirdly, conductor sizing and installation. Select conductors with an appropriate gauge for the ampacity requirements determined in Step 2. Use copper or aluminum conductors, depending on the specific application and local code requirements. Ensure that the conductors are properly insulated and rated for the voltage and temperature conditions. Install the conductors in accordance with all applicable NEC requirements, including those related to raceways, supports, and clearances. Make sure all connections are tight and secure to prevent loose connections, which can lead to arcing faults and overheating. Fourthly, tapping point location. Locate the tapping point as close as practical to the transformer's secondary terminals. This minimizes the length of the unprotected conductors, reducing the risk of faults. If possible, install the overcurrent protection devices directly adjacent to the transformer's secondary terminals in a suitable enclosure. Ensure that the tapping point is accessible for inspection and maintenance. Fifthly, documentation. Maintain detailed records of all calculations, conductor sizes, overcurrent protection device ratings, and other relevant information. This documentation will be helpful for future reference and for demonstrating compliance with the NEC. Sixthly, safety precautions. Always de-energize the transformer before making any connections or modifications. Use appropriate personal protective equipment, such as insulated gloves and safety glasses. Follow all applicable safety procedures and guidelines. If you are not comfortable working with electricity, consult a qualified electrician. Here's an example to illustrate the application of these principles. Assume that the existing temporary office trailer has a total load demand of 40 kVA and the new temporary office trailer has a total load demand of 30 kVA. The total load demand is therefore 40 kVA plus 30 kVA, which equals 70 kVA. To account for a 20% safety margin, the transformer should have a kVA rating of at least 70 kVA times 1.2, which equals 84 kVA. Therefore, the existing 50 kVA transformer is not large enough to handle the additional load and would need to be upgraded to a larger unit. Assuming that a new 100 kVA transformer is installed, the next step is to determine the required ampacity for each set of conductors. Suppose the conductors supplying the existing temporary office trailer are rated for 125 amps, which corresponds to the main breaker in the trailer's panel. For the new temporary office trailer, assume that the load calculation requires a conductor ampacity of 100 amps. Based on NEC Table 310.15, a copper conductor with a size of a number 3 American wire gauge and a temperature rating of 75 degrees Celsius has an allowable ampacity of 100 amps. Therefore, number 3 American wire gauge copper conductors would be suitable for supplying the new temporary office trailer. The overcurrent protection devices should be sized accordingly. The existing temporary office trailer is already protected by a 125 amp main breaker. For the new temporary office trailer, a 100 amp circuit breaker or fuse should be installed at the tapping point to protect the number 3 American wire gauge conductors. In summary, tapping the secondary of a transformer to supply additional loads is permissible under the NEC, provided that all applicable requirements are met. This includes ensuring adequate transformer capacity, properly sizing overcurrent protection devices and conductors, locating the tapping point near the transformer, and adhering to all relevant safety procedures. Consulting with a qualified electrician is always recommended to ensure compliance with all applicable codes and standards. Furthermore, it's crucial to understand the implications of voltage drop when extending conductors to remote loads. Voltage drop refers to the reduction in voltage that occurs along a conductor due to its impedance. Excessive voltage drop can cause equipment to malfunction, lights to dim, and motors to overheat. The NEC recommends limiting voltage drop to a maximum of 3% for branch circuits and 5% for feeders. To calculate voltage drop, use the following formula: voltage drop equals 2 times K times I times D divided by circular mils, where K is the constant for the conductor material, typically 12.9 ohms circular mils per foot for copper and 21.2 ohms circular mils per foot for aluminum. I is the current in amps, d is the one-way distance in feet, and circular mils is the cross-sectional area of the conductor in circular mils. If the calculated voltage drop exceeds the recommended limits, increase the conductor size to reduce the impedance and lower the voltage drop. In addition to voltage drop, it's also essential to consider the effects of harmonic currents in the transformer and the electrical system. Harmonic currents are non-sinusoidal currents that can be generated by electronic devices such as computers, variable frequency drives, and LED lighting. These harmonic currents can overload the transformer, cause overheating, and distort the voltage waveform. To mitigate the effects of harmonic currents, consider using a K-rated transformer, which is designed to withstand the additional heating caused by harmonic currents. Also, implement harmonic filters to reduce the amount of harmonic current flowing through the system. Another important consideration is the grounding and bonding of the electrical system. Proper grounding and bonding are essential for safety and for preventing electrical shock hazards. The grounding system provides a low impedance path for fault currents to flow back to the source, allowing the overcurrent protection devices to trip and clear the fault. The bonding system ensures that all metal parts of the electrical system are electrically connected, minimizing the voltage potential between them. Follow all applicable NEC requirements for grounding and bonding, including the use of grounding electrodes, equipment, grounding conductors, and bonding jumpers. Finally, it's crucial to conduct regular inspections and maintenance of the transformer and the electrical system. This includes checking for loose connections, damaged insulation, and other signs of wear and tear. Periodically test the overcurrent protection devices to ensure that they are functioning properly. Keep the transformer clean and free from debris to prevent overheating. By following these guidelines, you can safely and reliably tap the secondary of a transformer to supply additional loads while complying with the NEC. Remember that electrical work can be dangerous, and it's always best to consult with a qualified electrician if you have any doubts or concerns.